Alaikum. Good evening. Namaste, everyone. Welcome today to the Agora Talks, one of its kind of our session, which we are doing today. And today is the first, our first episode in a way. So before I get going and invite my guest for the day, I want to give you a bit of brief on what exactly are we trying to achieve here. So, Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. This particular article was given to me by Mr. Shreeraman Vadhyar almost 4 years back. It remained in my WhatsApp for some time, and it was just few months back. I happened to take a printout and I read through Managing Oneself, and I was absolutely astonished with the fact that the way Peter Drucker, which is of who is also regarded as a management guru, who started the whole process of management, the way he comes out and defines and distinctively or distance, I would say, managing ourselves, it's so beautiful. Right from finding your strength, managing yourself with the people, relationships, managing your second career, and whatnot, and how to find your strength also. Like, we are talking about finding our strength today, and this gentleman has written about this article back in 1999. The article was extraordinarily popular. It was so popular. This was released in the Harvard Business Review. It was so popular that Harvard has to release a book on this. So you see, an article came first and then the book came second. Usually we see the other way around. There's a book and then the article. That was the impact of managing oneself. I wouldn't have been here today talking about managing oneself without Mr. Shreeraman Vadhyar, who have introduced me to this. He said, yes, you do read books. That's great, Abhishek. That's really amazing that you read books. But have you ever read this document? It's just 12-page documents. Trust me, just 12-page, and it will make you think differently. And yes, rightly so. And that is the reason I'm going to invite today on the conversation for managing oneself none other than Mr. Shreeraman Vadhyar, who has been my own mentor when I was in Toastmasters, and usually also when I'm in problem and trouble. He's also a life coach, and he works with a very good corporation back in Muscat. And he is a man. We can speak with him for hours and hours together on sports, coaching, life, and management. Let me add him to the stream, Mr. Shreeraman Vadhyar. Sir, welcome to the Agora Talks, and thank you so much for your time today, for joining us today on this particular live. I'm sure you have been busy doing so many things, but yet you choose to be with me today, deciphering the managing oneself further. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure being here, Abhishek. Before I start, let me congratulate you on the progress that you have been making. I think you have moved away from Toastmasters to a different level. You're progressing well, and I wish you all the best in your journey.
Thank you
Before
so much.
we start on anything, I'm curious to know what is this Agora Talks. The name is very intriguing.
Absolutely. So actually, sir, I was reading a book on finding intelligence in geography. So this is a very unique book where the book explores that certain part of the world there are intelligent people born. So I'm just on the first part of that book, and that particular part, the author is talking about Athens as a place where Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato were there, and how people used to think differently, how people used to debate and talk, and how the whole philosophy came forward of inquiry, spirit of inquiry. During that time, they said Agora is a marketplace where people used to sell a lot of things, like we have a marketplace, but there also was a place where people used to talk and debate about things. So you may agree or disagree, but we can always debate. So I thought that Agora is a right word to start this conversation, because in today's conversation we may agree or disagree on something, we may have a debate, but Agora kind of encapsulates the whole theory of spirit of inquiry, spirit of debate, and yet respecting each other's opinion.
Great. Very intriguing, very interesting.
Thank you, sir.
All
Thank
the
you, thank
best
you,
in your
thank you,
venture.
thank you, thank you. So Sriraman sir, first question to you, let's jump straight to the catch, is why do you think managing oneself, because when we were speaking, I remember you told it is one of the finest documents still on managing yourself, despite being published in 1999. which is predominantly 26 years back. Yet it's quite relevant. Why do you think so, sir?
Oh, very important question. A couple of things come to my mind. One, I have to bring in another author here, Daniel Kahneman, who wrote Thinking Fast and Slow.
Right.
In that, he says the notion that we have limited access to our mindset is very difficult for us to accept. But it is true because we know far lesser about ourselves than we do feel that we know.
Agree. Agree.
Number one. Number two, in my 15 years of Toastmasters journey, Toastmasters tries some feedback.
Right. Right.
Whenever I talk to people on evaluation, I conduct this simple exercise of taking a paper, dividing it into two, and asking them to list their strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
One side, their good qualities, one side, the not so good qualities. I wouldn't call them bad qualities. And invariably, a majority of them come up with bad traits. Only highly skilled and people who have very high esteem come up with good qualities about themselves. The rest, which is in majority, ready to list down everything that is not so good about them. Now, if I don't sit and analyze this, how am I going to realize whether that is true or not? That is why this book is, or booklet, if I may call, is very vital for everyone to read.
Absolutely. Got your point. Got your point, sir. So most of the time when we ask people to shortlist their strengths and weaknesses, usually the weakness, and as you rightly said, only the people having good amount of self-esteem come out on the pluses also. But usually this book is where it is allowing you to reflect on yourself, on your strength and weakness. So got the point, sir.
This
Now
book
coming.
will
Hmm,
probably tell them how to go about it. Number one. Number two, it is
how.
also important because apart from people who write only negatives or not so good things about themselves, many people find it very hard to put things down about themselves. It could be that they're very junior, they have not had much to do in life, whatever. But I found that it's one of the strenuous exercises for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. The how part, you said, I mean, just to sum up this question, you say, how do I start this? If somebody asks me what are my strengths, I do not know. So if I read through this booklet, at least I can start thinking on the how part of it, defining my strengths and also my weaknesses. Good, sir. Now, second question is, I came across this particular booklet because of you. Now, I want to ask you, how did you come across, or who introduced you this booklet to you, and what was their advocacy that they put in so that you, or persuaded you to read this booklet?
As much as I would like to give credit to someone, I can't pinpoint and say where this came from. Probably at one time I had subscriptions to Harvard Business Review,
Okay.
Mind Tools, Charity Focus.
Hmm.
In one of those, it appeared, and I've had a lot of well wishers. I've been blessed with a lot of well wishers who have been referring books to me. You have referred a lot of books to me. You have actually given a lot of books to me. And my friend Jina Chandran has been referring a lot of books. But one of the greatest contributors to my collection of books is someone called Harish Mandra.
Hmm.
And in the club that we meet, Kinji Toastmasters, we also had, unfortunately discontinued now,
Hmm.
we also had KTM Library. A lot of people came up with books. Now, apart from that, two other individuals that I would like to acknowledge, three other individuals that I would like to acknowledge as contributors to my reading habit. It's not a great habit. I wouldn't say that I'm the greatest reader on earth, but whatever little I read. One is Amit Verma, who was the managing editor of Quick Info at one point. He's now running his own show called The Seen Unseen, The Seen and the Unseen, TSTU or something. It's The Seen and the Unseen. Yeah, TSTU. I think he's Bangalore based. He was a great cricket fan, but he also wrote equally on Bollywood and poker Probably he was a great exponent of probability theory. And the other person is someone called Prem Panikar. Now, though he used to analyze cricket, these two gentlemen have been very, very generous in quoting people and giving links, hyperlinks to their articles. Like, for example, Why We Choke was an article by Amit Verma, and he gave a link to a book called The Art of Failure by Malcolm Gladwell. Now, I looked at Malcolm Gladwell for the first time through Amit Verma. So the
Understood.
connections are built like this. And when we were doing the management course, the third person who comes to my mind is Colonel Bridge, Sunil Bridge. He was our organizational behavior lecturer. And he, every lecture, he used to drop abundant titles for us to read. And two of the books that he referred that still in my mind is one is Catch 22, and the other is an all-time classic, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Kill a Mockingbird.
So, like I said, I've been very blessed. So it's very difficult to pinpoint someone and say that this person has contributed to my reading habit. And managing oneself is something I'm not able to pin down to one person. But it's been a great eye opener for me.
Absolutely, got it. So it was not one person. Like for me, it was you. So it was like different people who you were blessed with, and all of them pointed out towards this particular article, and then you happened to read, and of course you happened to spread this word about this article too. Great, sir.
And to some extent, DTM George Summers also, because he was a great
Oh, okay.
contributor to the KTM family.
Got it, sir. Now, moving to now the core questions. Now, when we talk about managing oneself, there are different aspects that Mr. Drucker has considered into it. Now, let me take the most foremost, which after reading, that's the first point that came to me on among all that aspects, among all 8, 9 questions, the first one. He's talking about building your second career. Usually, people post 40s. He has put in perspective. Post 40s are already saturated, satisfied in whatever they're doing. They tend to lose what is called as the passion or ambition or whatever. Children has left the homes. They have gone away for whatever the next life to be. In that scenario, people get going with post 40. So he is focusing on the post 40 career. So I would like to hear from you, sir. I have read from the book, but I want to hear from you your perspective also. What does it mean? And have you seen anyone who have actually done it in your experience or in your inner circle?
Great question on that. It's one of the great things that he professes here. Let me start with an irony. I'm only 20 years late in thinking about it. I've been a great advocate of this book, but I'm only 20 years late. I'm thinking about my second career now when I'm thinking.
Sir, we are not able to hear you, sir.
Just a moment. I think one of my earbuds fell off.
Yeah,
Just a
now it's
moment.
clear.
So the irony is, like I said, 20 years late, but we will start somewhere. But to answer the specific question, yes, if you want me to tell you recent examples, I'm part of this coaching group for the past 2 or 3 years. And this is led by, believe me, someone who is in his early 30s. At 30, he quit a high paying job in Bosch in Bangalore. He had his calling that no, I'm not built for this. And he quit. And he started from scratch, from uncertainty. And he holds a group of at least 100 or 150, if not more than that. And he's into constant mentoring and cohorts. He's one of the upcoming successful coaches in India now. His name is Sunil Satyendra. It helps that he's a poet. He's also an author, multi-talented. But if you consider that some people are multi-talented, it also becomes difficult for them to focus on something, one thing particularly and excel at it. but he has done that
Right.
successfully, and he's now moved out of corporate. He said goodbye to corporate life. And at 40, one of my friends, who also happens to share my name, decided that at 50 he will retire,
Hmm.
and he did that.
Hmm.
Now his career is interesting because he was a gold medalist in finance
Hmm.
from one of the institutes in India. Came as a finance man, got into operations. He was head of the operations of one of the plastic manufacturing or acrylic sheet manufacturing companies in Sohar. He's quit and come back as advisor to the board.
Wow.
So he's not employing. I mean, he's
Right.
not employed, but he's
Right.
employed, sort of self-employed. He works at his convenience terms. So these are two recent examples. You can go back to Bill Gates and people like that who found a second calling after many years. I mean, there's only so much that Bill Gates can do in terms of building an enterprise and earning profits and all.
Right.
But I'm saying I'm sharing what is close to my people close to my heart who have done this now.
Right. 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 Absolutely. So, sir, what is your take on the, like, how you brief, like somebody wants to start a second career? As per Peter Drucker, what are the things that they need to consider in their mind, like as per managing oneself?
What is the things to take consider? I mean, he's given three separate ideas. One is that you take a parallel career.
Right.
Okay. The other is you move within the organization.
Right.
You try to build a different, like within the organization, not really within the organization, within the profession. Like
Right.
he's talking about if you're a head of a small unit somewhere and you go into a smaller size company, but take a bigger unit as your
Right.
sphere of operation. The other is getting into something new. And the third one is the one that I said about Bill Gates. You have a business, but you want to become a social entrepreneur.
Right. Right.
So he's talking about people who have business. Somebody who's talking about somebody who's built a hospital, but somebody who is also interested in, I mean, building other stuff. So he keeps them occupied. It's not that they're not working, but they are now spending less on the business that they built, less
Right.
time on that,
Right.
and moving more towards where they found their second calling and where they
Hmm.
get a little more satisfaction, inner
I agree.
satisfaction.
Agree. Agree. Absolutely. Got it.
So
Got it. Got it.
if you ask me what is the if you ask me what is the one thing that you need to do, it's something that I didn't have at 40, guts to try and experiment. Well, people can tell you that you will also need to have a thick back balance for that, big back balance for that. That also needs planning, correct?
Correct. Absolutely.
So that's why he says the best way to get into a second career at 40
Hmm.
is to start doing it before you enter that age.
Absolutely. Right. I agree. I agree, sir. Now, thank you, sir, for highlighting those examples of Sunil as well as other people who have taken up as a second career, and also, of course, Bill Gates starting Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. But as you rightly said, the core word, which maybe Peter Drucker missed to add, would was the guts, which we say, because definitely it needs guts. Definitely need guts. Whether you move within the organization, move out of organizations, start a social entrepreneurship, find your calling. Is many people do find their calling, but as Jack Ma says, there are hundreds of people, young people, they have ideas. One night they'll discuss, but next day again they go back to work. Nobody has the belief in these ideas. Nobody work on those ideas. So what's the point? So as you rightly said, those guts are very important.
Okay,
Going to
I'm
the
sorry to
second.
interrupt at this step. No, no, I'm sorry to. I forgot one important person here. Now, somebody who was working in a hotel called Shangri-La, who relocated to India and is now into cybersecurity, from sales to cybersecurity, and tomorrow what not. Now, if you, as Abhishek Kokate, did not have the
Yeah.
guts to experiment,
Right.
I have seen you work even at the worst of your times in terms of financial
Yep. Yep.
abilities,
Yes.
but you stuck it out.
Right.
You might want to experience, I mean, share your experience rather than my telling people. So this is a platform for you to tell them what did you do to move into the second career.
Absolutely. First of all, I came to know that I took the stock of the situation. So I saw very simple that in hotel industry, I'm not able to, I don't see myself growing. It was the hard thing to see. I was not seeing myself anywhere. And whatever was the operations, so usually in hotel industry in sales, everything is to channel management. So you really don't get a chance to meet to the end customer. So you're not into direct selling because selling, you want to see the end customer. You want to talk to them. You want to understand their pain point. That is not at all there. In mostly that is not there in the hotel sales, which I experience. Also, I didn't see myself growing in that ladder. Whatever I have learned, I didn't see the scope to apply that. Neither there was any learning. I mean, you're not going to create a hotel from the scratch. And it's not something that was enticing to me. That particular point of time, the cybersecurity opportunity walked in for sales actually to start with. I had zero idea of it, but I had this invisible belief in me that I can learn anything if I want to. And that is where the whole journey started because cybersecurity sales is not like hotel sales that you show a room, you show them the bed, you show them the facility. You can't show anything in cybersecurity. You basically have to see the demo POC. You're talking to the CISOs, the cybersecurity manager. You have to understand things very clearly. Also, you have this kind of what is it called, the syndrome where you are like, okay, I don't know this. If I don't know this, how am I supposed to speak? Imposter syndrome. Even after preparation, you might feel that, okay, I'm not qualified, I have not done my masters, I'm not a BSc guy, I'm not a BTech guy, how am I supposed to go out? Then I picked up my master's degree, but I never stopped learning. And with the onset of every day, whenever the challenges used to come, there are two ways of looking at it. Either I would say that, man, this is not, I'm in sales, I'm not supposed to learn this. Or I used to say that, so what? Even if I'm there, I want to learn this technicals. I want to grow on that. And that is where the whole journey started. And today I'm seeing getting more and more into the technical side of it and enhancing the whole storytelling experience right from the product development to the selling. So that has been my journey.
So switch from tangible and visible to the
Hmm.
intangible, so-called intangible and invisible. Correct?
Right, right,
So
right.
do you agree that it took a lot of guts for you to do that? What you call as
Absolutely.
belief, I call as guts.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lots of. I would have failed
I
miserably.
believe I believe that you could be the best skilled person in the world, but if you don't have the guts to use that, apply that,
Absolutely.
you're going nowhere. But a person with guts will find a way to upskill.
Right, right. Upskill.
This is my
Correct.
belief.
Absolutely. Even when I was leaving Muscat, at that time also my friend told me, Abhishek, you still have time. You can always recall your resignation. There is no need for you to jump in all this. How are you going to do cybersecurity? But I said, no problem, man. I have taken a decision. I need to stick to it. If nothing happens, we will see later. At least I need to give 3 months. The company will give you 3 months at least, right? After that, they will kick out. I was absolutely ready in my
Absolutely.
second mind. If they kick me out, I need to find something. But I need to try. I can't regret this at the end of my life. Like, oh my god, I had that juice in me, I should have given a shot, but because of the fear I didn't do. So I've seen a lot of people around me, my colleagues, who are extraordinary people. They could do so many things. I know people who worked in purchasing with me, they would have been absolute great human resource personnel. Unfortunately, they didn't have that guts in them that want to go out and try. Eventually they didn't do it. And I feel that is the resources in you, that is a talent in you that you didn't tap in. So yeah. Thank you, sir, for bringing Ali allowing me
Okay.
to share the story. This is about you, and you brought me in.
It is necessary. What better than somebody known to you achieving something? I mean, than
Absolutely,
bringing some imaginary figure or somebody who has been away from you.
absolutely, absolutely. Now, going to my next question, sir. Uh, Taking responsibility. There are two portions of taking responsibility that Mr. Drucker is talking about. I want you to say deep dive on this because I feel this is so personal and so professional at the same point. And I feel at this taking responsibility part, uh, which has two prongs in it, most of us fail, including me. And in professional life, every day we doing fail this, and we assume that that is not required. So I want you to say, please deep dive or drill down on this particular part of taking responsibility.
Interesting thing. In fact, I would say the underlying factor that he drives about throughout the book is to remove this notion that one size fits all.
Right.
The first part of the responsibility for relationship that he talks about is your responsibility to understand the other persons.
Right.
which some people call as empathy. Now, when we talk about perception, there is a famous experiment where one person stands at the end of the picture, another person at the other end, and this person sees nine, other person sees six. Correct?
Right. Right.
If you continue to believe, if I am at this end and I see nine, if I continue to believe that it is nine, and the other person continues to believe that it is six, we are never going to be working together.
Absolutely.
So it's important for me to go to the other side and see what does that person see.
Right.
Why is it that the other person is saying it is six?
Correct.
Okay. Why is it that a salesperson doesn't want to go to the market?
Mm.
Maybe he's not built for that. You just mentioned somebody who could be better in HR. So
Yes.
are we understanding? Are we understanding what their capabilities are, what their skills are? Are we understanding what their values are? You know, so
Values.
accepting, getting to know their individuality and accepting their individuality within the team is what he's talking
Wow.
about. It doesn't mean that you
Wonderful.
work in silos, but you work as a team because each one fits into a different genre of activity. The second part he's talking about is the responsibility for communication.
Absolutely.
Even when we were working together, probably there must have been a lot of situations where it could have been a just single phone call. Until that call is made, we live under assumption. Oh, Abhishek doesn't want to talk to me. He thinks highly of me. And you must be
Mm.
thinking Shreeraman doesn't want to call me. He thinks he's a DTM. He doesn't. Until you start talking and discussing, getting to know each other's perspective, are you taking up that responsibility to communicate? Is the question. Or are you waiting for somebody else to take up that responsibility for communicate? It happens in families also. Very often we have
Absolutely.
this misunderstanding with our siblings, and it's only a phone call. Once you start talking or once you start meeting people,
Absolutely.
everything is clear. Everything is hunky dory. So
I
rather
agree.
than assuming, start talking, take charge for communication is a take responsibility for communication. The second part is talking about when you're talking about responsibility for relationship. If, for example, if I take the 6 and 9 example, if I continue to hold my view, if that person continues to hold his view of 6, how are we going together as a team member?
Correct.
Will the team ever be together? We
Right.
will always be going together but apart.
Absolutely.
Like divorced parents living together in a house. They are living together in a house, but it's not a home.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like a hostel. Absolutely. Absolutely. So my sub question to this supplementary question to this question is, okay, you take a responsibility, you communicate everything, but what if people on the opposite take to you as somebody who is loudmouth, or somebody who is too much communicative and explaining too much things? How do you think? Because for me, it has happened. I'm telling you from my personal example. When I'm trying to uh, make things clear, the opposite people are thinking that, okay, why is it need? Why is he trying to tell so many things? What is that? Does he need something? Different perspectives emerge. In that scenario, how do we handle this? Also at the workplace, also you want to welcome a colleague, and you want to make sure that everything is communicated well. But what if that colleague or the leadership team take is like, "Hey, why this guys keep on telling these things constantly, and clear, clear, clear"? What do you think on this? What is your take on this?
Again, if you look at the first part of his responsibility for relationship, the moment you accept that the other person has a view, has the capability, the skill set, the other person has the potential to grow, you'll be talking less, no, automatically. Now, looking at the other side, has the other person ever asked you as to or told you that you're talking too much?
Hmm.
Or asked you is what is it that you talk makes you talk so much?
Hmm.
So I would go back to the initial pages of this booklet where he
Hmm.
talks about feedback analysis.
Hmm.
Unless you keep talking to people, you will never understand how you're working. So that's which brings me back to what I said about the our incapability to understand how less we know, as Daniel Kahneman said. I'll give you a classic example. One of the person whom I will hold in high respect always was our co-member in our Kinji Toastmasters Club. Name is Chittaranjan Mishra. He had very hard truths to tell people. But for people who valued opinion and wanted to improve, he was a best friend. But for people who did not want to say unpleasant, want to hear unpleasant things, he was an enemy. You will always find your audience. Maybe at one point, if you're pushing people away, if you're being repulsive, it's time for you to realign the way you approach your communication. Chitrajan was, I have no shame in admitting what he said about me. He said, you are so used to writing long things. What can be said in 2 lines, you write in 2 paragraphs. Now, every time I write, I think about Chittaranjan Mishra. It doesn't matter if I write something funny, but if I'm writing something serious, I think about it. Can this be trimmed down?
Right.
So people will value for what you give. I mean, for what you are giving them. But
Hmm.
that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to keep on giving.
I agree. I agree.
There has to be
Totally.
takers also. No? I mean,
Yes.
it
Yes.
can't
Yes.
be
Yes.
repulsive. So
Right.
I would again go back to feedback analysis. How do they respond?
How do they
Or
respond?
are you
Hmm.
assuming they are
Hmm.
put off by what you're saying?
Hmm.
Are you thinking too much of yourself when you talk so much? Or are
Agree.
you trying to tell them that I know far more than what you think I know?
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
these are the things that will come up in conversation. Keep the conversation going, keep the feedback analysis, ask for feedback.
Hmm. Agree. Absolutely. Got the point, sir. Yep. Now, responsibility of communication. You see, just to summarize, responsibility of seeing the individuality, as you say, the perception exercise, where six can be nine for somebody, nine can be six. So we have to understand things from their perspective also, which also AKA empathy. And then next is responsibility for communication, not just at work, not just at workplace, not just in our families too. We need to take the responsibility of communicating, as you rightly said, without assuming that people are not responding because they don't like me. People are not responding because they're bored of me. Don't assume. You can just ask a feedback, as you rightly said. If they're not responding at all, they're non-responsive for some time, I think it's time for you to just reflect or just drop off what more can be done. That's it. And as you
Absolutely.
rightly said, there's an audience for everything and everyone. Not everybody will like a particular movie, right? Certain movies only
Absolutely.
certain people appreciate. So same for
Absolutely.
communication. Everybody cannot appreciate that. Even our life today, some people are around on my LinkedIn will be thinking, what was this is Abhishek up with? What is this live? It has nothing to do with cybersecurity. What is this managing oneself? And sometimes there'll be certain portions of people who'll be like, wow, this is great. We were not knowing what is managing oneself. Who is this Peter Drucker? There might be people who might be knowing. Oh, that can be there. Okay, that's great. Interesting. So either way, there have audience for every sort of thing. We should not assume. Now, going to the next question, sir. Values versus ethics. First of all, Peter Drucker has written a very beautiful lines on this, on values and ethics, and value system and ethics, and then the mirror test. So I would like to hear from you, sir, in a simple format. Whoever is listening to us, who has not gone past their managing oneself, values versus ethics, what is the difference? Because most of the time, including me, we mistaken it as a synonym, or it may be synonym, but they're not each other. They're exactly not the same. So, what is it, and how do a person live a valuable life full of values and life full of ethics in the materialistic world? You know from where I'm coming, which space I'm coming from, and then the mirror test.
Well, first of all, let me clarify that I'm not a psychology expert. Nor am I expert in anything. But the way I understand this concept, I'll tell you one example. I was working for someone in Mumbai. I was executive assistant to the chairman there, and he once sent me with a bouquet of flowers and an expensive gift to one of the bank officials in Nepean Sea Road. The perception with which we went there was that all these bank officials were corrupt. They could be bought, they could be befriended and influenced. Okay, that must have been the unwritten ethics, not written ethics. Ethics
Unwritten.
are general, societal, more societal, and values are more individual. So within the society, in the bank, probably they thought it's okay to accept this.
Correct.
But when I went to that person, he literally threw me out
Oh,
when he realized that this was from a corporate place. I said, tell your boss, I don't work this way. Now he clearly defined his values. That's value, individual, more individual than collective. What could be
correct.
your value need not be other person's value. This is the difference that he brings about. Value is different from people to people.
So you were
If I'm a
carrying a bouquet,
vegetarian
sir.
by choice,
What were you carrying actually? A gift, a very valuable gift, or just a bouquet?
okay, and an expensive gift.
Oh, okay. It was an expensive gift. Okay. Understood. Understood.
Yeah, I mean a gift that not many people will say no to.
Agree. I agree. 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 Understood. Got it.
But that person, because he held his value much higher than the gift, he
Agree.
outrightly rejected and he literally threw me out.
Nice.
And he sent me in the morning telling the next time he does this, he'll be in trouble.
Oh my God. Nice. So I think that incident would have really uh, would be imprinted in your memory, right? Now also when you narrate it.
It is, but it doesn't affect me in any way because
Correct.
I'm neither the receiver nor the giver.
Correct. You were just
I'm just
the
the conduit.
middleman who just did his duty. He went and gave, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Got it. So values are individual, ethics are societal, as also you said there are non-written ethics. As we say, it's non-written rule, right? To do things or to not to do this. It's unwritten, but it is
Because
expected of you.
if you look at from the corporate point of view,
Hmm.
it's very difficult. I'm not saying impossible. Very difficult to go by the ethics, which is why a lot of corporates have this corporate governance
Hmm.
department,
Correct.
especially the listed companies.
Hmm. I agree. I agree.
But individuals, it's easier for individuals to stick to values than a
I agree.
corporate setup. I mean,
I agree.
I know for sure that as I was growing up and I moved to Mumbai, one of the things that I learned about Tatas is whenever you talked about Tatas, the word ethics came
Agreed.
in a positive way.
Got it.
I'm not saying other corporate houses are not ethical or they are corrupt, but this name was associated with Tatas very
Hmm.
easily. People could like Tatas ethical. You know, that's what I heard when I was growing up in the corporate world in Mumbai.
Absolutely. Got it. Got it, sir. Something on the mirror test, sir.
Directors, he gives a very good example of
Hmm.
a gentleman who was asked to entertain people by supplying women. So he went the next day, stood in
Hmm.
front of the mirror and told himself, "I'm not going to be known as this person.
Right.
I would
Yes.
rather
Yes. Yes.
quit."
Yes. Yes. It is there. That example is there in the booklet.
So we have this concept in our minds, probably in an average person's mind. When I say average person, not average in intelligence, I'm saying on an average, we believe that
Hmm.
we are value based and our bosses are not value based.
Correct.
But
Correct.
I'll tell you one of my bosses' reaction. He realized that I'm a vegetarian, I don't drink, and I'm not comfortable dealing with alcohol. He had this habit of ordering alcohol through his staff.
Correct.
So he once asked me, so he realized that I was uncomfortable taking the discussion further. The next thing I know, I said, it's okay, Shri, we'll deal with someone else. And he called someone else who was comfortable with that and he ordered these items through him. So there are people who value your values, provided you tell them that this is my value, provided you communicate to them. Now, without
Communicating the value.
communicating,
Correct.
Without communicating, if you assume that the other person will understand, you know, that's where the problem comes.
Yeah,
Not
that's where
everybody
we
is coming and asking what are your values. Though this is something that is advocated by Peter Drucker in this book.
right.
Ask people when he talks about responsibility for relationship, ask what their values are, ask how they want to work.
Mm.
But in corporate
Ag-
world, generally, it's not the norm as that is practiced.
Agreed, sir. Agreed. Now, going to the next question, sir. Completely. Thank you so much. First of all, this is something very personal and close to me. Even I was not aware of the values and the ethics. Values are individual, and ethics are more societal. And how both can be, done. And we always think the other side is right. We said that I have more values, and the person opposite to me don't have. That's until we communicate our values thoroughly, directly, indirectly, we cannot expect the other person to know about the values. In your case, the person would not be assuming that you may be uncomfortable with alcohol because India is not a dry state, right? So what's the problem? Right? So it's not like that. But then, the moment he noticed that its uncomfortableness is growing, he would have read it, and then finally, he found another route. Again, nothing offensive. Nobody got offended. So great one, sir. Now, coming to my second last question for the talk today: how do I perform? So here, Peter Drucker is saying that everyone individually learns in a different way, or perform in a different way. Somebody is a good listener and they perform listening. Somebody is a good reader, they read and they perform well. Somebody is a speaker, they speak it out and explain others and they perform well. Why is it so important, first of all, to understand what is your own style of performance? And number two, how does one discover that? And what is your style, sir? Third one. Three questions in one question.
Vast question. So, there is a distinction in what he says. One is the first thing that he talks about is how do I learn,
Right.
and then how do I perform. Okay, how do I learn? I can give you my example. Growing up in Kerala, where I studied first, I thought I was a brilliant student. I could crack exams easily. The moment I shifted to Mumbai, I started struggling. One was, of course, the challenge of coming into an advanced school, advanced stage in the school. Because in our government schools, we had very low level of education in terms of syllabus cover, not
Right.
in terms of teachers or quality of education.
Mm,
There was more strikes than the classes held there.
mm,
Some bus conductor charged some 50 paisa from someone. There was a strike for that. So we spent more time observing strikes than observing classes, and still managed doing well there. But come to Mumbai, I was struggling. One reason I found out was I was a very good listener in classes. I studied by hearing. I didn't have to make volume copious notes. I didn't have to reproduce that. So when come exam, I could throw up all that I had studied, I had heard, because it's not possible for topics like mathematics, accounts, and all, which was not my strength in any case. So I could manage the prose type subjects well. So similarly, like they show in Tare Zameen Par, I mean, it's a movie, but that's a fact. Now, if you have 45 students, 50 students in the class, and you're teaching the same way, are they
mm.
taking in everything? Again, I would bring that one size fits all. Unfortunately, the competitive nature of our education is such that you can't sit every individual down and teach them.
Right. Right.
So some people learn by. It's only later in my life I realized that there is something called VAK and much more, the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic type of learning.
Right, sir. Right. Right.
Okay, so how do you learn is over a period of you will understand. If I send you an article and a video, what would you watch first? What would you do first? Will you look at the video or
Yep.
will you look at the article?
I'll
That will tell
definitely
you
look at
how
the
you
video
learn.
first. Yeah.
That will tell you. So you're a hesitant reader, but you're easily inspired by, easily influenced by the visuals.
Correct. Correct.
I am a
Correct.
more of a text guy. It takes me a lot of time to watch a video, but
Hmm.
text in minutes I can read.
Absolutely.
And I'm also auditory. When people, that's why I spend a lot of time interacting with people in. I don't generally miss a lot of events in Toastmasters also, though it is not our club or our area or our division. Wherever I get an invitation, I go and listen to people because there'll be
Right.
something that you can take from there. Not necessarily, you don't put an effort to read everything. I don't like to watch a lot of videos.
Hmm.
In any case, the video duration have come down.
Hmm.
It's easy by practicing and observing how you learn. Somebody mentioned when we were talking about Toastmasters speech subject that at 2 o'clock somebody wakes you up and tells you something. What do you want to talk about it now? What you talk at that time is your favorite topic. You can write a speech on that. Now I wouldn't want to go to that extent.
Hmm.
But what makes you put something away and do this? That thing
Right.
is your passion. That's how you learn. If you are willing to read at any point, you learn by reading. If you're willing to listen to a podcast, I know a lot of people who are not keen to read, but they're very, very happy listening to podcasts.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know if you know Sandeep Navira, who used to live here in Muscat. Wonderful listener, loves
Absolutely.
audiobooks. There is another person here that I know who is a wellness trainer, physical trainer, loves audiobooks.
Got it.
So if you keep practicing it, you will know at
You'll
some point how you
you'll
learn it.
realize it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's not difficult.
Hmm. Absolutely. Got it. Sir, the
How
last
do I
question.
perform is something is
Hmm.
different.
Okay.
Like until I became division director in Toastmasters, I was always very happy being the number two.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Not being in the limelight. But at
Right.
some point, I decided that I want to be in the limelight, not because I want the limelight.
Hmm.
I wanted to prove to myself that I can do this also.
Hmm.
Fortunately for me, I found this platform Toastmasters, which encourages failing and learning and relearning like anything.
Right.
Not
Right.
necessarily that you should go and fail, but
Right.
tolerating failure and attempting again,
Hmm.
not being judged, is one of the greatest strengths of Toastmasters.
Yes. Indeed. I agree.
So I have so much of platform, so many op- opportunities in that platform to learn, relearn, unlearn, continuous feedback. And to my knowledge, that's the only platform where you are told you have to improve and you still sit and applaud the
Yes.
person who
Yes.
gives you that feedback.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's
In
helped me
Toastmasters.
tremendously in that respect.
Toastmasters,
Yeah.
anything they say in Toastmasters. Even I always tell people, even if you're not able to speak you for 30 seconds in table topics, people will still clap for you. Then they say why they clap for you, because people are acknowledging the fact that you had a courage to stand up, walk up to the podium, and able to stand there for 30 seconds. That also requires a tremendous breakthrough. Already you've broken. Now next time you come, another 30 seconds will be added, then another 30 seconds, then 2 minutes, then 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Eventually you will take over the phobia of public speaking or in general communication. So without that feedback loop, without people's clap, it's very difficult, because in the environment in the world out today, apart from Toastmasters, nobody will come and appreciate you just like that. The way we do feedback, the sandwich method now also, people believe, I don't know, people believe in giving straight on their face. What you don't know this, you don't know that, you don't know that. You do this, do it. Hardly people understand that it has to be sandwich. You appreciate people, like how we do in speech evaluation. Three good
Yeah.
things, just one or two max, and you show them where they want to improve. Don't just tell them, show them. And then finally again you bring it back to the best and deliver a sandwich. Sir, now thank you so much for this answer. Coming to our penultimate question of our conversation today, quick take on the feedback analysis. This is the first topic that Drucker talks about, but I've taken it as a last: feedback analysis and understanding your strength to feedback analysis.
Keep communicating, keep asking for feedback. Interestingly, one of the
Hmm.
best ways to know your personality
Hmm.
is to see how people introduce you.
Oh. Hmm.
The moment they say a lot of things and then qualify by saying, but he's a nice human being, you know that everything else that was said was in negative connotation.
The butt.
One way. The other way, there are a lot of good they say a lot of good things, but sometimes he can be hard.
Hmm.
That means that is also something that they have held close to their heart
Hmm.
as the opinion about you, but they don't want to be very open or blunt about it.
Right.
So they are. sliding it very slowly that, yeah, this is what I think of you. But the best way to understand is to, first of all, you have the mirror test. What did I do yesterday that I could have done better?
Hmm.
There is something called journaling, reflection.
Right.
You can use that. And very often we write things or say things in the heat of the moment. And when you reflect on it, you yourself will know that I could have done this better. I hope
Right.
Peter Drucker doesn't get angry with me that I'm going out of syllabus and bringing things that are not discussed in the booklet.
Hmm.
Okay. And the other thing is to keep talking.
Hmm.
And today I can say that you can use something like Johari window,
Yes. Right.
where find out your blind spot, find out your unknown area. I can tell you my own example. Until COVID happened, I didn't realize that I could sing in public.
Ah.
Yeah, I consider myself the best singer as long as a bathroom was provided to me. But when I started singing on that platform, people started asking me to sing.
Nice.
So I realized that there are people in the audience who
Hmm.
wants to listen to you.
Right.
I mean, why would anyone want to spoil their own atmosphere by asking a bad singer to sing
Right. Absolutely.
in
Absolutely.
front of so many people? So a
Right.
little bit of self-belief, and with a lot of repetition, then your belief level goes up, and then you start working on it.
Right.
Now that after a period of time, it becomes your responsibility. You are holding on to that now. Earlier,
Yes.
people held on to the fact, belief that you're a good singer,
Hmm.
and after a while, now it became your responsibility to hold on to
To be.
that image. Then you started
Yes.
working on that, and you
Yes.
started getting better at that.
Yes.
So this is how
Agree.
you use feedback mechanism. And
Understood.
there's nothing like going and asking people. Like I said in the beginning about assumption, we assume that people will accept what we are saying. We assume that I know what they're supposed to say.
Hmm. Got it. Got it, sir. So repetition, belief in yourself, working it out. Like how you give an example, you were also not aware of that you could sing well in public, and eventually, and then again, then it onus lies on you to even better that. So that is one way of discovering your true strength through feedback analysis. So, sir, with this, I have covered all my questions for the managing oneself. To all the audience, sir, I'll just take a comfort break of 2 minutes. We'll just hold on for 2 minutes and see if there are any questions. After that, we can call off the live. So just 2 minutes, sir. I'll be back.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir. So I was just waiting for any questions from the audience. I am unable to see much questions here right now. Maybe we'll have questions later on, which we can definitely reply. So yeah. So, sir, let me just do the conclusion part of it. So, thank you first of all, sir, joining in today. And I think we covered right from the introduction how you came across. You told the story of how you came across this book or this booklet, then starting the second career, and examples of the people that you shared who started the second career, including Sunil and myself, and taking responsibility, understanding the individuality of others, and also taking responsibility of communication with others, not assuming things, clarifying. And then next is the value versus ethics. Very important. Values are individual, while ethics are social driven. It's very important to understand that and not to assume again the values of others. Next is how do I perform? Am I a listener, a reader, or a speaker? And then coming back, you have to just observe what is, as you rightly said, if I send you a Word document and I send you a video, which one you watch first? So you watch a video. So definitely visuals are something that you learn with. So you work on that, you'll understand that's innate style of you for learning. So you can use that. And finally, the feedback analysis, where you can understand by constantly reflecting on yourself, like which kind of strengths you have. And as you rightly said, the Johari window also plays a very pivotal part, and then repetitions will make you understand further about your belief. Example that you give yourself, only singing, which anyways you were not doing it, but post the COVID you started to sing in public, and then there was no looking back. And I have also heard you singing many times. It's nice, it's really nice. So with this, Shreeraman sir, I would like to.
Just one point on the. It's not whatever I said is not exactly what is written by Peter Drucker.
Correct.
Based on my understanding,
Yes,
when
yes,
we
yes.
talked about feedback analysis, he's talking about writing it down,
Hmm.
visiting it,
Right.
after a period of time and all. So
Hmm.
when I said journaling, that's one part. The other is write your goals, revisit. That
Correct.
also gives you feedback. How did I approach this goal? Was I successful? If I was not successful, what could have been? Make a decision tree about it.
Got it. Got it, sir.
Root cause
Agree.
analysis. So he is talking about writing down, and eventually you will get to know how you did. But that's from your point of view. But if you want how you're perceived, how your success is being perceived, or lack of success is being perceived, how people can help, that's external feedback that is required.
Absolutely. And Rish has complimented on many things about how people introduce you is one of the parameters to analyze yourself. So
It's well, it's not something that people say, but because I have experienced it, I'm saying.
correct. Thank you,
So
Rish,
when
for
I'm
being
saying
supportive.
he talks very hard, but he's a nice person. So nice person, I will take. But what I will work on is that he's a hard talker.
Correct. Agree. 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 So I think with this, we'll wind up our talk today. And thank you so much for showing us and discussing managing oneself. To all the listeners, I will be dropping in also the document of Harvard Business Review, copy of that managing oneself, a 12-page document. You can definitely have a read of it after listening to this, or you can read it and then come and listen to this. Either way, managing oneself still remains one of the most prime sought after 12-page document that will really make you reflect on how to manage yourself. So with this, I like to call off our live today. Thank you, audience, specifically Resh, for being supportive and complimenting. And also we have audience,
It's that.
Mr. There was this, I forgot his name, Abhishek Kanan. Thank you, Varghese Chirian, Mr. Varghese Chirian. Thank you, Praveen. Thank you so much. All of you supported this, and hope we'll soon we'll come up with the next session on something more interesting like managing oneself. So stay in tune and drop your feedback and drop your questions. I'm sure Shreeraman sir will take it up and answer individually. So thanks so much.
Yeah,
And
feedback definitely in terms of how we could have done better, if
yeah,
there is anything what we did better, what we did well, and if there is a difference of opinion, please feel free to share it with us, at least with me, if not with
with me
Abhishek.
also. No, no, no. Of course, with me also. Anywhere your feedback is very, very important to us. That is how we improve in life. So thank you so much. And it
Yes,
was mastered feedbacks. Feedback is a breakfast of champions. So without feedback, we wouldn't have been here. So definitely, I'm very open, just like Sri Raman sir. So thank you so much, and have a good evening from Muscat and from India also. Thanks a lot,
it was
sir.
a pleasure. Thank you very much, Abhishek, for this platform. I
Thank
enjoyed
you so
being
much,
here.
sir. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you and good night.